What do we actually gain as a Muslim community with more diverse Muslim representation on TV? What do we gain as Muslims, and then what is the larger community, including non-Muslims? What is the benefit? Like, what is the point of representation? What do we get out of
Well,
it?
the interesting thing is this. So I'm going to add an addendum to what I just said, is that there are other cultural forces in play right now, which are actually going to work against this whole sort of, the I'm a queer Muslim warrior, right? That's what they want in Hollywood right now. Okay, the cultural force that's happening is that Hollywood is waking up to the fact that this social agenda isn't in line with the customer base, right? It's not. I mean, most people, they're not happy with this. The teaching all this trans stuff to little kids in school. They're not happy with it. They're not happy with putting this stuff in shows. That's just normal American Christians, Jews, just normal people, right? They just don't want it. So they're not watching this stuff. So the major cultural shift we started seeing is Disney with the rise of the new CEO Bob Chapek, who essentially came in to clean that place up, because under his predecessor Bob Iger, it became the sort of wokey thing. So the specific thing that affects us on is, I don't know if you guys watch Miss Marvel. Did you see Miss Marvel?
Of course, yeah. We
Yes,
get questions
yes.
about Miss Marvel, so it's perfect. Let's dig in.
So I have several friends that were young writers on the show, right? And and so I was very concerned about that show because the comic went from sort of the normative young Muslim hero and girl to, like, again, Muslim girl fighting the power, right? So in the leftist revolutionary, and a lot of Muslims like, I don't know, what is this going with? A lot of the fans of the comic were like, where the hell is this going, right? And so the concern was that the show was going to be that, and my understanding is the show was in that original direction, right? And then Bob Chapek, people don't realize the show was finished over a year ago, and then was shelved. It's put on the shelf and reshot, right? Because Bob Chapek looked at it and goes, "Someone's going to watch this. It's going to be hard enough to get people to watch a show with this brown girl they know nothing about, right? It's going to be hard, but we're going to brown girl, like, revolutionary for the leftist revolutionary. They're not going to watch that." And so he basically made them reshoot it, right?
Oh, wow.
And so now the show that, I mean, you may have different opinions. I love the show. I watched it every week with my mother. I haven't watched a show with my mother since The Little House on the Prairie when we were kids, right? But that's how wonderful a family show it was. And it was sort of normative Muslim culture today, right? It wasn't wokey. It wasn't out there, with these various revolutionary flags. It was just a girl trying to be Muslim, trying to be American, trying to figure out what to do with superpowers. And it was very, very empathetic, right? So suddenly you got a cultural force that's reigning in the very Muslims that were trying to push it in this direction. The young, Marxist Muslims, right? And so now these Muslims are like, they don't know what to do, because now, yet again, Hollywood reshifts, Hollywood's like, well, we don't need these Muslims anymore. Because, we brought in these Marxist Muslims. We don't actually need them. See you later, suckers. They're never going to be our friends. It's because the industry is about agendas, and Muslims are just there to serve a purpose. The moment the purpose changes, we're thrown out. And these poor young kids are now beginning to figure that out.